is Vivian Green-Freed. I'm a professor at Vanderbilt University of Art History, American Studies, and Gender and Women's Studies. I will be giving lectures in conjunction with the exhibition of the At Home Project. The At Home on Tour exhibition documents the At Home Project. The At Home Project was a result of Judy Chicago and Donald Woodman teaching a semester-long course at Western Kentucky University in Bowling Green, Kentucky during the fall semester 2001. These students transformed each of the rooms into a series of installations dealing with various themes having to do with the home, domesticity, marriage, issues related to the home in Kentucky. This project is related to an earlier project that Judy Chicago had worked on along with Miriam Shapiro in 1971 at Cal Arts in California. This project investigated what it is like to be at home in Kentucky for men, women, and children. The At Home Project also addresses similar themes having to do with domesticity and sexuality, but there are new themes that these third wave feminists brought into attention. The At Home Project also addressed themes that had to do with the home and marriage, but they expanded upon these issues, addressing domestic violence, incest, rape, masculinity, as well as aging and eating disorders. Masculinity, which was not evident in the earlier Woman House, derives from the fact that male as well as female artists worked on this project. The concern about masculinity derives from the men's movement, which was influenced by the feminist movement. That is, both men and women are socially and culturally constructed, and these student artists were interested in exploring how both masculinity and femininity are constructed in our 21st century in the United States. She had developed feminist art pedagogy earlier with Miriam Shapiro while working at Cal Arts. She continued this approach to teaching in which she would encourage her students to focus upon the content of their art and allow that content to be the major aspect of their process. The process also included reading, consciousness raising, and discussing various issues. Her art pedagogy encouraged cooperation. The photojournalism students worked with Donald Woodman in order to document the project, which you're going to be able to see today on this video. The result is a powerful exhibition which deals with various issues concerning domesticity, marriage, the family, and the home. See the process of exhibition and the installation in preparation for seeing the exhibition. Western Kentucky University's Professor of Arts, John Oakes, and Andy Rudloff have put together this video so that you can see the process of the exhibition and the installation in preparation for seeing the exhibition.
Hi, I'm Judy Chicago. John Oakes asked us to answer a series of questions that he thought would be of interest to viewers of the At Home Traveling Project. The At Home Project was developed 30 years after Woman House, which was a project that I did with students from the California Institute of the Arts in 1971 with the artist Miriam Shapiro. The program, the feminist art program at Cal Arts, was based on the program I started at the California State University at Fresno in 1970. It was a pioneering program that was a way of helping young women find their own personal content. 30 years later, we were invited to revisit the subject of the home at Western Kentucky University. One of the major differences between the At Home Project and the Woman House Project, of course, was that the At Home Project was team taught by a man and a woman, Donald Woodman and me, and 1/3 of the class was male.
Hi, I'm Donald Woodman, and I would like to talk to you a little bit about the experience I had with my students working on the documentation of the at-home project. People have asked how it was that Judy and I collaborated together on this project. Well, we've had a lot of experience collaborating together in making art. We spent 8 years working on the Holocaust project, which was an inquiry into the meaning of the Holocaust in the contemporary context. We share many of the same values, and we have many skills which are complementary to each other. I feel that it was really important as a role model to have a man and a woman cooperating in the team teaching of the class. The roles that we represented created a positive role model for our students, and in particular for the male students of the class.
Some people ask about how we were able to balance our own artistic integrity and lives as artists with the students' content and their project, but this was actually never an issue. This project was not about us as artists. Our role was as facilitators, helping the students find their own content and their own subject matter. Our lives as artists was spent in our studios where we worked every day, and then we would go to the at-home project. It was very clear the distinction between our lives as artists and our role as facilitators in the at-home project.
It was important for the students who documented the project to both participate in and to observe and record the process of content search, which was the foundation for the topics explored in the at-home project. Understanding the path taken to reach the topics was the insight needed to record the subject. The photographers not only recorded the process, but learned to contribute and to become co-collaborators, in many of the rooms lending a hand where their skills were needed. The room panels give a fairly accurate record of the transformation of the house into the final project. No one medium can give the complete story, but the concept that the students chose in doing both portrait panels as a way to introduce the viewer to the participants and the room panels to show the process of transforming the rooms presents an in-depth picture of the project.
Donald talked about content search, which brings me to wanting to discuss how the class was actually structured. For the first week, the students showed slides of their work and talked about their home life, what family and home meant to them, domestic space, domesticity. Then, and that was not only so that they would become aware of each other's and learn about each other's work, but it was also a way of building trust and establishing a kind of group support network, because as the students began to talk about their lives and their work and their intentions, the other students began to understand where each student was coming from. And so later on, when people were working on subjects, sometimes very personal or meaningful subjects, that knowledge helped the students provide support for each other, which they needed. Then the next step was what Donald mentioned, which was content search, which was starting to talk about the issues that each student was interested in. And if there were common issues or common content, that often led to the students deciding to work collaboratively. Whereas if somebody had a very specific content that they wanted to address and other students weren't interested, that usually led to an individual project. Then there was the next step was that we helped the students deal with matching their content to a space. So for example, one person wanted to talk about eating disorders and had of course the idea of using scale. In fact, two people wanted to talk about that. So they wanted to use a scale. So that of course leads to the idea of a bathroom, because you usually have a scale in a bathroom. Anyway, once the content and the rooms were connected and the spaces divided up among the students, there was a certain kind of negotiation that went on around that. Then the art making began. That was after the first month. Then the rest of the semester, 3 months, was completely focused on intensive art making, which then Donald and I helped the students do to the best of their abilities.
For the students, living in the South obviously had a tremendous influence on their lives. What we discovered was that the students had many secrets. We come from the North, and in the North, people generally go to the therapist and reveal their secrets, but what we learned is that our students didn't do this, and a lot of their secrets were kept inside them. So during the process of talking about their art and their lives, a lot of these secrets came out. As these truths were revealed and the students' real lives came to the forefront, we were shocked. But it was our job to help the students transform their truths into art.
One challenge in the At Home project was fusing the wide range of experiences and ages into a coherent whole. The age range in the class was between 18 and 62, and that meant that there was also a wide range of abilities. Some people, actually, some of the younger people had no experience with art critiques and tended to take them personally. And one thing that we had to do was make a definite separation between our own aesthetic expectations for ourselves and our expectations for the students. After all, not only was there this issue of diverse ages and experiences, but also the participants were in a fairly isolated part of the country. And I'm sure very few of them had any experience with charged subject matter, so that meant that they could not possibly anticipate some of the emotional reactions of the viewers when they saw the rooms. But one thing that we thought was really great was that the fact that there was such an incredible reaction to the At Home project among viewers taught both the students and the viewers about the potential power of art.
Gender definitely figured in both the class discussion and the finished work, especially the fact that the men sat through the discussion of the women's lives, and the women told about what their real lives were like. And in a sense, that gave the men permission to also reveal their secrets and reveal about how their lives were, and brought them more in touch with how they really felt about their life experiences. A lot of the rooms dealt with specifically gendered issues, like the kitchen, which was the heart of the home, or the eating disorder bathroom, which dealt with issues which were central to women's lives. And these are issues that women have been dealing with in their art since the Women House experience in the 1970s. But also in the mixed gender situation of the At Home project, there were issues that were central to some of the younger men's lives, like murderous sibling rivalry, which I'd never seen explored before. And also the issues around abuse and rape, which we think only of in terms of the female gender, but also are affected both men as perpetrators and as victims. In terms of the students, though, I think the shared experience of having to sit through the discussions of both male and female gendered experiences was an important experience, and one which was very unique to the At Home project.
I want to talk for a minute about feminist art pedagogy, which I developed in Fresno and have practiced over the years. And of course, when I developed it, it was in the context of the idea that women could not be themselves if in the presence of men. And as Donald mentioned, this proved not to be true at all. I was really glad to see that in the At Home project. And what it demonstrated was that feminist pedagogy can be applied equally to men and to women. And it definitely provided the underpinnings for the At Home project. Feminist art pedagogy is a content-based pedagogy in which the teacher acts as facilitator with the goal of helping each student express his or her own personal content through whatever technique, media, or form is most appropriate. One could say that feminist art pedagogy is about trying to help each student find his or her own voice, then help them turn towards excellence of expression.
All in all, considering all of the hard work and the process by which the students had to struggle with the subject matters that they were dealing with and the varying skill levels, the At Home project ended up being quite a success for both the students and the audience.
I mean, the students worked hard, they learned a lot, and they produced art that deeply affected many of the viewers. I don't guess one can ask too much more than that from a one-semester project.
Nope, and I think the students will have had an experience that will last them a lifetime.